Hi guys, welcome back to JaredGunstonTV. It's good to see so many faces coming back, asking questions, and just having a good time here on the channel and sharing knowledge with each other. And quite a few of you guys have come back and shared your tips and your reasoning for using it in different ways. And I just want to say thanks for just spending some time. In today's video, as you can see on screen now, we have got the GT core over here. GT-1000, I hope you don't mind, I just say GT core, it's a lot easier than going the GT-1000 core. And I thought I would walk you through making a tone on the device, because I do a lot of stuff using Boss Tone Studio. But I've seen simple questions from just how to initiate a patch, how to do certain little tasks, and how the assigns work, all that sort of thing. So I'm going to do my best to create a tone, do an assign for the control pedal, and then we'll take it from there. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do though is initiate a patch. Now, these are part of my sounds here. One of the first things you'll notice that I've done is I've just set all of these to patch, because I don't want any of these changing my sound on the go. And if you press exit and the right button, you lock the knobs. So this won't do anything, it'll just do that. I've currently got my playlist up to number 5, and then it knocked back down to 1. These are my 5 brand new sounds. And now, for the sake of this demo, I'm going to just open up my playlist and I'm going to show you how to do that. And this will come in handy if you want to limit yourself to a handful of patches for a gig or a rehearsal. Alright, you press the menu button. You're looking for play... what's it called? Play op. Yeah. Scroll to the right, play option, you press the knob below it. Then this over here, minimum and max. I'm just going to expand this up to 10. And I'm going to turn knob lock off by pressing these 2 buttons, exit and the right. And there is a initiated pack. Now, for those who do not know how to do that yet, press right button. You're going to be presented with this. You write normally there. You can exchange should you want to swap patches around. You can initiate, or you can insert the patch. So I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to press here on initiate. Yes. Then we press right. Okay. Initiate patch 06. Executing, and now that is set back to normal. The 2 LEDs will become blue. This control will become whatever it is normally set to. And now you're not done yet. You need to press effects, and here is your effects chain. Sure, I've set that bright enough for you to be able to see. But we're going to scroll along, and we're just going to shut off everything. Leave this on single mode. You shut it off pressing the select button. Shut off, shut off. Leave that on stereo mode. Foot volume, tip number 1. You don't have an expression with this, and only if you know what you're doing and you're going to program one in, then come in and change this. But set that minimum volume all the way up to 100. Trust me, again, this will save you later. Be set at 0 and somehow this gets turned down to 0 without you realizing it, or you make a mistake and you edit it, or maybe you test drive an expression pedal and then you don't use it again and this defaults back down to 0. Every time you go into your tuner and come out, your patch is going to default back to 0 volume, and you don't want. Okay, let's see, are there any other things to do? There's the loop, don't worry about that. You can turn that off. These you leave as are. Okay, fantastic. Now you press and hold the select button on the loop, and you're going to the left. And take it right back to the beginning. Okay. And now, here's your first lesson on assigns. You go into menu, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to program control 1 to be my looper, and that's how I'm going to program my sound. You're going to go into menu, and scroll back left. Control mode, don't worry about that for now. Or actually, going to just make sure it's on memory. We're going to control assign. This control assign lets you program these physical pedals over here. And if you connect an expression pedal or an FS6, FS7, for example, that is where you're going to set it up to do basic on and off or divider settings and all that sort of thing. But we're going to go, actually, let me demonstrate that. Go into control. You're going to find control 1, which is over here. You can see that's currently on divider 1, channel 1, and it's on toggle, and it's on patch. For now, leave these on patch. Do not change them unless you want. If you adjust this to system, that's going to change every single patch in the unit. And then whatever you set this to, control 1 will become that for everything. So I wouldn't do it just yet. But let me just show you what this is doing. Divider 1, channel. So if we go into here, here's divider 1 over there. And if I press control, watch what happens. Oh, that jumps. And that's how you make a clean and a overdrive amp or a amp, and then you want to create maybe a modular chain, anything like that. Okay, but that's not what we're doing. We're going there, control. Now you can sit and you can scroll through it like this, but the easier way is to on the knob, make that this is on function. And now we're going to scan through here. And we're going to look for looper. There it is. Okay. And then we can... There are further settings in here. If you want to set your controls or expression pedals, your manual mode, but don't worry about that now. Manual mode, you can get to it by pressing these two. And you could set those two things to be an overdrive and an effects on. That's currently what it's set up. Not going to worry about that now. So now that we've made our first, which is that, the looper, we are now going to save. Right. And I think just for this, we're going to change the name to J. Well, let's say JGT. And then to clear the rest, because I'm a neat freak, delete. Then hit right again, executing, and there's our new patch. That's going to do absolutely nothing except pass a clean signal through it with a looper on and off. And the next thing you need to check as well, for the guys designing tones for the first time, go into menu, go into output, input. You're going to want to have your guitar going just over that little triangle when you strum hard. That's why mine's set to +11, because my pickups are quite soft in the guitar I'm currently using. Output, very, very important. Output select, recording. You want recording most out of this unit. If you're doing 4-cable method and all that sort of thing, there's other ways to run this, but I don't do that around here. I don't use amps. Okay, next, global EQ. These are just my go settings that I recommend you give a try. You using the select. This works in almost every menu. You select where you want to go, and then these change the parameter. So go here, high cut. That's on 8K. You could even bring it down to you could even bring that down to 6.3 or 4, but I've left it at 8. Low cut is at 80. It's a level at 0. And then this mid over here, low gain is at 0, high gain is at 0. That's sort of like treble and bass on the amp, except this is treble and bass. You got to see it as almost like a mixer channel, and you want to add a bit of bass, add of this. But this global is going to apply to your entire guitar sound. This is not per pat. Here on the mids, I recommend send about a 4Q. The lower the number, the wider the frequencies, and the higher the number, the thinner the band. Set it to 125 and do -2, -3, and that should get rid of just a little bit of that bottom end. It's not honk, it's a bit lower than that, sort of whoop. And you can always just come in here and just move this around and find a spot that you like. But I find that, what is it, 120? Yeah, 125 seems to smoothen out much. So that's a starting point for there. Now, the next thing you want to do is go into, again, make sure your loop is right at the start. So whatever you change here, your loop is going to run through all these things, and it's going to help you create your patches. Okay, master, that's fine. Patch level 100, we're going to leave it at that. Amp control 1 or 2, off and off, or else you're going to keep having these annoying clicking sounds every time you change patches. Sub, we'll get to that in another video if you guys want me to. Stereo link on, again, we'll get to this if we want to, but in here, if you push right, we're currently on the original speaker type, currently on a 57, distance short 5 centimeters from the speaker, and mic at 100%. Direct mix 0. So if you can picture what that looks like on a stage, that's going to be whatever amp we put in front of it. It's going to be whatever that original speaker is with a 57, very close to the cone and about 5 centimeters away from the center. You can start going in there and changing it to 4 by 12s, 8 by 12s, etc. And then you can even go further after the bass. All these ones with B are for bass. Then you've got spaces for your own IR slots. But for the sake of this demo, I think let's leave it on original. And we are going to set up our path to get started. Okay, I think the first thing we're going to do is make a loop. So I think let's start off with getting a nice compression going, because you can already see the compressor going for some strange reason. Oh, it's probably just compressing to the settings that are on there, even though it's not on yet. But let's start with that. Now, I really like that. It adds just a little bit of warmth, and it just sounds really good. And the settings that I did, the reason why I went to a 2.5 to 1 is I don't want to be compressing too much. And as far as sustain and attack, as much as I would love to give you a detailed thing as to what they actually do compared to studio compression, all you need to know is if you turn the sustain up, it turns up the lower sounds. And I find when the attack is almost all the way up, it attacks quickly. So you can see that little compression meter there attacking the note quite quickly. It sort of goes, it still holds on about 1 or 2 little blocks. So that's just the whole signal sort of coming down and squashing a little bit, but still giving you those little peaks there. You know what I mean? And you want that. And this X comp I actually think is quite nice. And then what you want to do is just balance out the level, so it's not much louder than your signal before compression. And then what we're going to do after this is I'm going to start playing around with an amp model, and then I'll talk to you guys again. Sorry, something I just feel I need to mention to you now, before I start tweaking. These controls over here, sag and resonance, are the most important things in this amp block. Yeah, you got gain, you got bass, mids, treble. I find the mids on this unit respond differently to the mids on like the GT-1000. Where they were more creamy, whereas this one, if you pump them too much, it can get a little bit honky. So you've really got to you've got to listen to these mids, and you've got to find the right spot. The present is nice. The treble gets a bit too fuzzy. So you'll notice, well, it could be completely different after. But I find I normally end up putting the presence between 20 and like 35. Sorry, the treble between 20 and like 35, and the presence I'll sometimes to about 6. Anyway, and this is also very important. This changes the tonal quality as well of your amp. So between the gain, I think it's switch, and sag and resonance, I'm going to start dialing in a tone now with this natural amp, because I really do the sound that with that compression is saturating this amp so nicely. So let's give that a go. Cool. I think as a nice sort of crunchy, bluesy sound, I think that's actually quite cool, and I was able to come up with that pretty quickly. Now, normally I would want to go in now and adjust EQ, but I haven't had a look at the cabinet yet, and that can change everything. So, let's go have a look at the cab. I'm going to come back to the amp. Going to see if I'm happy with the settings with the cab, and then a final step is then to add some EQ if I feel it's just not biting enough or whatever. Here is a quick EQ tip for you. What you're going to want to do is be on parameter. Leave low and high, leave level. You're going to want to scan there. And over here, you've got two mid frequencies. So what you're going to want to do is set this Q, as I mentioned before, as high as possible. Set this Q as high as possible. And then what we're going to do is we are going to boost, scan, find horrible frequencies and them by 2 or 3 dB, just clean up our mix. right, and now just a couple of polishing tricks. And that is now me done. I'm now going to grab my guitar, plug it in, and see what it sounds like. Another quick tip, if you feel that you're not getting enough bite out of your guitar, and you don't want to crank the gain, I mean the gain's pretty low, but I don't want to crank the gain, I just want to add more saturation to that specific sound. Remember that compressor we put in at the beginning? Level. Where you guys gone? Stop looking down on my lap. Yeah, that's pretty much how to get a cool sort of natural tone. I had no idea what I was going to make. Just thought I would do something for you guys just to show you how easy it is to make a tone. I mean, I've been playing now for 35 minutes, but if I wasn't doing the whole demo and trying to neatly, you could probably whip that up in about 20 minutes. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate it. And let me know some more suggestions. What do you guys want to know regarding the core? And I'll check you in the next one.